So today we are talking about slow living, but because I work full time, I've been thinking about how I can apply slow living to my life. It's really difficult when you live a very busy life, when you have lots of commitments, lots of demands on your time. A lot of us who have a job, whether it's in the corporate industry or not, we always feel like we're in a rush, like we never really have the time to actually slow down and enjoy every moment because someone somewhere is demanding a piece of our time or a piece of our attention. If your job is like mine, it is forever busy. I'm in meetings, I'm in calls, I'm traveling. It's like I'm trying to squeeze so many things into my working day. I'm trying to get as many things done as possible. And I'm always thinking ahead. I'm always thinking about tomorrow or 2 days' time or what I need to do by Friday. It can sometimes feel so pressured that the concept of slow living may feel really elusive. You can apply these principles even if you don't have a job. For example, if you're a stay-at-home mum or if you have your own business, you still have demands on your time, right? So I believe these principles can be applied to your life regardless of whether you are working in a job or not. As long as you have a busy life, then this video is for you. The first step is to make a conscious decision to go against the grain. So most of us live in a society that tells us to work as quickly as possible, to work as efficiently as possible, to be productive. So the first step for us is to go against the grain and actually decide that we don't want to get caught up in this hustle and bustle culture. I like to reflect on how I'm feeling. So how I identify whether I'm being too rushed and too hurried is by looking at how I feel in any given moment. So if I feel like I don't really know where to start with my task on my to-do list, that is my telltale sign that I need to slow down. It comes back to making that conscious decision that you don't want to feel really rushed and swept off your feet all the time, and actually you want to enjoy life, going against the grain, doing the opposite to what everyone else is doing, and that you actually need to do this because you are looking after your mental health and you are putting yourself first. The second tip is to start our mornings slow where possible. Now, I'm being realistic here. I'm aware that a lot of us who live busy lives, we can't always control the time at which we wake up. If you're a mum, you may need to do the school run, for example. So again, not all of us can actually choose to wake up at a certain time and ease our way in to our day. So for those of us that applies to, my suggestion is that we try and wake up slightly earlier than we need to, so that we're not having to rush getting ready. On the days where I'm not working from home, I wake up at 5:15, but this week I decided to wake up at 5:05, so 10 minutes earlier than I usually wake up, because I realised that I'm always in a rush on those days where I'm going into the office, and I hate feeling like I'm in a rush, having to power walk to the train station. It's an awful way to start the day, right? So I decided to wake up 10 minutes earlier this week, as I said, in order to give myself more time to get ready. And it's surprising that my husband even noticed that I was less rushed. When I came home from work that evening, he actually said that, were you happy this morning? He noticed that I wasn't as stressed and as rushed as I usually was when I'm getting ready for work. So doing this small, simple thing, it can literally transform how you feel in the mornings, how you interact with other people, how you interact with the world around you. Try and give yourself a few minutes extra to get ready in the mornings. It will enable you to move slower, to not have to rush as much, to not feel like you are constantly under pressure and that you're going to be late. The next tip that I have for you is one that you can incorporate if you do have the luxury of being able to work from home. Adding an element of slow living at the middle of the day is a really great way to remind ourselves of this new goal that we've set for ourselves to slow down. Stretching really calms you down. You focus on your breathing, you focus on how your body feels, and it just helps you return to balance. That is a perfect way to reset after what may be a stressful morning at work or a busy morning. It's easy to just continue through the rest of your day being equally as busy and just focusing on your output. So having that mental reset and also that bodily reset midday during your lunch break, I think will be a really great way to intentionally slow ourselves down. Another thing that I've been doing is actually making a to-do list at the start of the day of what my priorities are, what I intend to achieve or complete by the end of the day, and then also rearranging those points in order of importance. So what I like to use is a whiteboard because it enables me to cross things out and not to end up with a messy to-do list. Oftentimes we are trying to squeeze 101 things into each day. We're being unrealistic with ourselves about how much we can actually achieve in any given day, and we're just essentially trying to pile too much on our plate. So for me, I find a lot of value in not just starting work straight away as soon as I sit at my desk. I force myself to get the whiteboard out or to get my notebook out and just spend a few minutes writing a to-do list. I feel like there's a lot of internal pressure that we put on ourselves to not waste any time to show as online immediately. But there's actually power in remaining as offline so people don't see that you're online and start pinging you or calling you immediately, but giving yourself a few minutes every morning just to carve out a to-do list. So moving on, this tip is about taking breaks during the day. I honestly was so bad with this. It was actually during therapy sessions did I realise that I never really allowed myself to take a break. I think it goes back to, this pressure that we all put on ourselves to always be productive, to always be working. Since then, I have tried to remain consistent with giving myself regular breaks, even when the workday is extremely busy. Even if I feel like I've got so much on, it allows your body to pause, to slow down. I tend to actually remember things that I've forgotten about that I need to do that day when I'm taking a short break from my desk. So it's really important to give your mind that time to slow down. And related to this is scheduling time in your diary, like empty time in your diary. Too often we try and squeeze as many meetings into our day as possible, or as many things on our to-do list as possible. There is actually power in literally putting time in your diary where you do nothing, where you don't allow other people to schedule in calls with you, where you don't respond to emails, where you don't try and tackle your to-do list. You're simply scheduling empty time. What I tend to use those empty slots for, I just use them as opportunities to catch up during the day, because no day ever goes 100% to plan. We always tend to end up falling behind on something, right? So it's really useful to give ourselves time to catch up, because we just know that we'll fall behind with something. So it's like preempting what's gonna inevitably happen during the day and make an allowance for the things that may spill over or take slightly longer than you expect them to, or sudden things that come up, you know, emergencies or just things you didn't plan for in general. So every day I try to schedule like just 30 minutes, half an hour of empty time, and I pretend that I'm in a meeting. So I may actually join a fake call. So I create a fake call in my diary and, you know, I join that. I put myself on mute. I share my screen so that my status appears as I'm presenting. And I just use that time to catch up with my to-do list, or, you know, to write an email that I've been putting off. Or I may even allow myself to step away from my desk and to look out the window or to get a drink. So again, it's about consciously making that decision to slow down, to go against the grain, to do the opposite to that which everyone else is doing. You are giving yourself time to pause, replenish, refresh, reflect, etc. It's really important to regularly remind yourself during the day to slow down. If you're only doing it in the mornings, you're going to forget during the day and you'll end up feeling as rushed and as hurried as you ever feel. So you need to constantly remind yourself during the day to slow down. Put reminders on your phone if needed, or put reminders in your calendar to pause, take a break, step away. It's really important to do this for you. Like, no one else is going to realize how stressed and overwhelmed you've been feeling recently, or how rushed and pressured you've been feeling. It's only you who can notice the yearning to live a slower life. So you need to do this for you. Put yourself first. Make sure that you are doing whatever is needed to make yourself feel better, to rebalance and to recalibrate.